ZEBEC Network, ZBCN versus Volt XVM, and comparison XRP with some Bonk. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil. Keeping technical analysis short and sweet as always. If you haven't, like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. But let's get into ZEBEC Network. This is actually the first time I've opened up this chart. A lot of people have been hyping it up, like on Instagram and all those kind of networking platforms. But we see that it crossed over the 200 EMA, had about an 800% increase with a major retracement. It touched the 200 EMA and pushed up. And then we had our downward trend line being built, where we had that resistance, and we are getting some support off this 200 EMA. This is getting pushed up. We are building higher lows for ZEBEC. And it is at 0.004. Keeping in mind, I want to bring in XRP because XRP is a major coin to be holding. If you are not holding it currently, it is highly recommended. So we're going to move back in time, and we are looking at this point in time. We had about a 7,400% increase and a 1,000% increase from the price point of 0.007 or 64, more or less. So even further back in time, look at ZEBEC and look at this point. There's not a whole bunch of information with this 200 EMA. We had a major push up from around 0.006. The total increase in price was about 800%. And then from about 2014 all the way until 2017, people's money was trapped in XRP, and that could happen with ZBCN. However, for this next altcoin season, it definitely has some major potential for a buying opportunity. The 200 EMA, I like to see it as just the pressure of the water pushing this up. And essentially with the CM guppies, it is kind of pushing downwards, trying to create a lower low. But we see that the volume is decreasing, the price is increasing, which we would consider divergence. Ideally, what you would want to see is it break over this downward trend line. That is a movement from current price about 34%. So when it closes above that 34% area, that's where you would be looking for an entry, making sure it doesn't retrace and try and touch this downward or upward trend line yet again. But the 200 EMA is getting stronger, and a little bit of volume will start pushing ZBCN to a higher price point. I did a little bit of research on it. They have debit cards that you can fill up with money, and it's going to be an exchange type platform. But the news that I've heard about it, the utility behind it, it's definitely very bullish. Just make sure you pull out whenever it starts to go up, as you don't want to be trapped for the next 4 years in something that may become obsolete if there are better networks that can do what they are doing. But it is a good option. I'm actually bringing in XVM, then I'll go to Bonk just for a real quick minute. But XVM is looking a lot better. This is the chart that I have pulled up. We see it broke this downward trend line. It's starting to build higher lows. And this is on the hourly. But you mainly want to see it hold above this upward trend line. There's not any indicators on here. We could do, let's do Bollinger Bands. It's a little bit more consolidated. If it breaks out of these blue lines, it's going to move one way or another. We could start seeing that upward momentum, and essentially we'd want to be breaking over this 0.021. Ideally, holding above this line, we can see a reversal with the bull market coming in, Bitcoin pushing up, the news that is coming out today that Powell's going to be speaking about, interest rates coming down. And if interest rates do come down, this does have potential to start moving back into the bullish momentum. It is at a very pretty low price point. If you are willing to take the extra steps to buy SOL, transfer that SOL to Phantom, use Phantom Wallet to buy Volt and then resell that Volt, transfer back to some other cryptocurrency, transfer it back to your wallet. It's a hassle, but sometimes the coins that are a hassle do have some of the highest rewards. It has happened to me in the past, whether it be a meme coin or something more serious like this coin XVM that BlackRock is backing and going to be utilizing. In comparison between XVM and ZBCN, XVM, if it can build that support, it does look a little bit more healthy than ZBCN. But ZBCN, if it breaks just this downward trend line, it can take off. And dropping a 0 is substantial for the move upward. If you were to enter at this point to dropping a 0, you'd be looking at 130%. Say it drops a 0 twice, 400%. I mean, anything is possible. Moving back to XRP, it's actually going to pull me all the way back to today's date. We're going back in time. The price potential increase for that first one was from where we are currently at, more or less on ZBCN, to 0.06, 900% increase. When you do that here, 0.06, 1,350% increase potential for the first pop. Maybe that's the finale for ZBCN before it calms down for the next 4 years. But that's pretty good ROI for the potential entry point. I wouldn't recommend throwing an entire bag at it, but it definitely does look like a pretty good entry. And if you do want to trade ZBCN or I think it's XV, no, you can't do XVM on MEXC, but you can also trade Tornado Cash, which I always like to bring up in my videos as it's over 100%. But if you want to trade on MEXC, there's a reference link in the description below. If you use that reference link, you get 10 USDT free, which you can use to buy ZBCN or Tornado Cash. Entry at 750, currently at nearly 15, and continuous momentum to the upside for Tornado Cash, keeping in mind the all-time high is at $459. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you have not, and leave a comment in the description or down below if there's another coin you want me to take a look at. Good luck, have fun with it. I will start working on the XCN videos and all the other coins.